Hey, B45 family. Welcome to episode 4 of the B45 podcast, where we're determined to stay healthy, get fitter, and live life to the absolute fullest. At B45, we believe in building our health and fitness like a castle, one brick at a time. We're not about fast fitness, so thanks for joining me. My name is Ayam Monahin, and I'm your host. If you're new here, I would really want to thank you for tuning in. I hope you find the content helpful. I hope you find it educative and interesting. And I would ask you to consider becoming a subscriber because if the content is good and you like it, if you're a subscriber, when we release new episodes, you'll get notifications as soon as they're released. Now, if you are a returning listener, I really appreciate you tuning in and listening. This is episode 4. Now, it's been quite a number of weeks since I released the last episode, and that's the kids have been on holiday. Here in the UK, the kids went back to school last week, and we've just had our first week of school. And honestly, the kids been on holiday impacted my schedule. We took some time off as well, took vacation. In fact, when I went on the time off I had, the holidays, we had vacation. I took my podcast equipment along, hoping I'll release or I'll record an episode while away, but that did not happen. Kids are back in school now. We're trying to get back into our normal schedule. So this is episode 4. In episode 3, we talked about who is in your corner. We talked about having people to support you in your fitness journey. And we talked about how you can always also be that person that supports somebody else. So who's in your corner, episode 3, go listen to it if you haven't. This is episode 4, and today's episode is titled All Round Fitness. Now, did you know that to be considered physically active, you have to put in about 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity every week? Did you know that? So basically, if we do the maths, if we do the calculation, that will be about 30 minutes of exercise every day for a minimum of 5 days a week, or perhaps maybe 50-minute exercise for a minimum of 3 days a week. I mean, this is based on published numbers. 150 minutes is what's considered ideal. So you are considered physically active if you do up to 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise. When you look at the number, then you look at the stats. Now, based on the definition of physically active, here in England, 63% of adults are considered physically active. Now, when I look around, I don't necessarily see the evidence that supports that 6 out of 10 adults are physically active. So I guess there's more to fitness than physical activity, but physical activity is a great start. If you look at the same statistics in the US, only about 35 to 40% of adults are considered active. That's a low number, I think. And generally, if you kind of turn the spotlights of those statistics to people over 40, those numbers would be even lower because most over 40s have a very busy lifestyle, hectic schedules they have to keep up with. Most over 40s have a lot to contend with because of the stage we are in life. And I say we are because I'm over 40 as well. And I kind of relate with all of that. Family commitments, career commitments, life challenges, money worries, rent, mortgages, relationships, challenges, just go on and on. Now, I hear someone say, yeah, other people in other age brackets have the same challenges. I mean, I do not disagree. However, I think over 40s are special. I guess maybe because I'm one of them. I looked at the statistics for a survey carried out here in Europe, which asked people how often they exercise or played a sport. Now, for males in the age category 15 to 24, approximately 60% of them said they exercised occasionally with some regularity. That means, they exercise probably, once a week or twice a week. It's occasional, but it's quite regular. It's, maybe do it 3 times a month, but they do it with some regularity. Now, 60% is a high number. I mean, considering that 15 to 24s, they're the young people, maybe finishing school, getting to university, trying to look for their first job. Now, if you look at that same statistic for people aged 25 to 39, the number was 45%. So from 60% of people saying they exercised in that age bracket, 15 to 24, when you come down to 25 to 39, it was 45%. When you go down to 40 to 54, that number was at 35%. And then for males over 55, the number dropped to 20%. So 20% of males over 55 say that they exercise with some regularity, occasionally with some regularity. These numbers, when you look at the same numbers for females, the numbers are even, I'll say they're worse, but the trend is exactly the same, meaning that there's a decline in physical activity as we advance in age. So understanding that as we progress in age, we decline in physical activity, how can we ensure that we don't neglect our physical activity? How can we ensure that we don't become a number? We don't become a number in that statistic of people that neglect their physical fitness. So one, very simple. You have to know where you are. It sounds pretty simple, but knowing where you are means that you understand where your health is. It means that you are not living in denial. Looking at where you are can help you understand how you got there, right? And help you retrace your steps. So first thing, you have to know where you are. And the next thing is you have to start to take actions. You have to start to take actions in the right direction, but you have to start where you are. Okay. If you've not been physically active at all, you just can't go run a marathon, right? You have to start, where you are, because understanding where you are and understanding that you need to take action, you have to just start there where you are. You don't have the capacity to do a whole lot of exercises. Start where you are. You don't have the ability to do high intensity. Start where you are. Just start where you are. You see, a lot of the time people tend to have a picture, and it happens to me as well. Sometimes I tend to have a picture in my head of when I'm going to take action, right? For example, I'll give you some of the, silly ones I've had before. Rather than starting where I was thinking, you know what? When I can afford a gym membership, I'll start looking after my health and fitness. And maybe, every month, you have expenses and you just can't afford gym membership. For example, it might be when I can find time. Okay. Now, if you leave your physical fitness to when you can find time, you may not necessarily be able to find the time to do it. You have to make the time available. Another thing I've said to myself in past is, I'll go running when I get new running shoes. These ones are a little old, blah, 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 blah. These are just excuses. Start where you are and start with what you have. Just start. Okay, so when it comes to exercise for people over 40, in my opinion, nothing is wrong. We can get all technical and say, you can't do this, you can't do that. You need to do strength. You need to do aerobic exercises. You need to do high intensity. Do you know what? Just hold up for a minute. For an over 40 person that's not been working out, that's not done any exercise, you know what? I don't think any exercise is a bad one to get them started, to get them motivated. Most over 40s have likely developed a sedentary lifestyle due to perhaps the demands of balancing work life and family life, for example, or just because as an over 40, we've not paid attention to our health and our fitness. So for someone like that you've got a sedentary lifestyle, any exercise, I'm telling you, is a good start. just, start to do something. So most over 40s are likely to be possibly advancing their careers. There would usually be maybe highly skilled individuals. There might be senior contributors to, in their organization, people, managers, consultants, team leaders, department heads. I mean, over 40s might be CEOs. Or perhaps entrepreneurs running their own business, hustling and grinding every single day to deliver success. A lot of the time, the demands from these external and superficially well-meaning factors would usually lead to neglect in the area of personal relationships, basically family, friends, socializing, all of that gets impacted, but also in the area of personal health and fitness. Now, if the grind is impacting your ability to socialize, then for a lot of people, you're not interacting, you don't have time to see friends and family, it doesn't help with your mental health. And you don't have time to work out, it doesn't help with your physical health. So that's not a good conundrum if you ask me, right? Now, if you neglect your family, I'm pretty sure they'll let you know. I mean, if your wife and kids if they are as outspoken as mine, they will definitely let you know. If you neglect your health, you wouldn't get an immediate nudge or an immediate reminder. Certainly not as quickly as your family reminding you, but believe me, your health would eventually let you know. So don't wait until your health and your body starts to kick back at the neglect before you start paying attention. You have to pay attention to your health now. In a guideline, a health guideline released back in September of 2019, the UK Chief Medical Officer, he reiterated a clear message about physical activity. And here's what he said. I'm going to read the quote. He says, "If physical activity were a drug, we would refer to it as a miracle cure due to the great many illnesses it can help treat." According to WHO, the World Health Organization, one of the leading risk factors for non-communicable disease mortality is physical inactivity. A lot of diseases that are non-communicable can be traced to physical inactivity. Can that be a wake-up call for you? Can that be a wake-up call? You don't have to wait until you get that report from the doctor. You don't have to wait. Let this be a wake-up call for you. Let this be a wake-up call for you to think about all-round fitness. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. In my health and fitness journey, I'm not trying to get a six-pack, for example. That's not what I'm trying to do. I think I'm going past that, right? If it comes, sure, I'll take it, right? But I'm all about trying to do those little things that I can repeat, I can have consistency in to achieve a better overall lifestyle. Okay? So that's why I'm talking about all-round fitness. What does all-round fitness, what does it look like? All-round fitness, I think, starts with awareness. Okay, it starts with you being aware of your health, you being aware of your fitness, you being aware of your body, you being aware of what you do every day. Awareness is key. And then small, repeatable actions. All-round fitness for me, in my own, from my own understanding, can be achieved by that. If your current lifestyle does not include physical exercise and you want to achieve all-round fitness, then you know what? Walking is a great start. And then you can develop into perhaps a brisk walk, after some weeks. You set yourself a distance you want to cover, for example, and you just, go on a walk. Now, for most people, walking can gradually advance into a slow jog after some weeks or months, or even perhaps into running. However, it doesn't always have to progress in that manner. Okay, for example, if you are overweight, it may not be a very smart idea to progress from walking to jogging or running, because it would likely put pressure on your knees. So you have to be smart about the kind of actions you take towards trying to achieve all-around fitness, you have to be smart about it. Now you're in over 40, you don't have the capacity you had as someone in their 30s or someone in their 20s. So you have to be smart about this. It's smart fitness. All-around fitness is smart fitness. Targets and goals are a good way to move closer to achieving all-around fitness. If you're able to set yourself a walking target, for example, maybe 10K every week, and you just do 2K every day, for example, just something simple, consistent that you can achieve, something realistic, you are able to achieve that target. Set yourself a target that's realistic, then try and achieve that target. Now, what you find is that even though it's a small target, it would help fuel you and give you that spring in your step to perhaps continue or even up your game a little and do a bit more and step up your game. Okay. I'll give an example. My mom is visiting and she's been with us through the summer holidays. When she first arrived in the UK, she had to isolate for 10 days. And this was in accordance to the rule set by the UK for people arriving from countries on the amber list for COVID-19. So this meant that she couldn't go out of the house for her daily walks. I mean, my mom would walk every single day, but because she's just come, she had to self-isolate for 10 days. She could not achieve that. Now, guess what she did? She started walking around in my garden, and my garden is not so big, right? So it meant that she would walk round and round and round and round and round and round until she achieved the target number of minutes she had planned to walk daily. Now, after the isolation period was over, she would walk around the neighborhood using the same route on every occasion. Now, each time she arrived back home, the first thing she would look at was the clock on my living room wall. And I kept wondering why is she always coming in and she looks at the clock? Now, it turns out that she was trying to improve the time it took her to complete the walk. I mean, she had obviously set up a route. She had taken a note of how long it took her to complete the route the first time, maybe the second time, and she had developed something called maybe a personal best time, and then she was trying to improve on her personal best. That's a target. I mean, that's a target she's setting, and she is trying to improve on that. So that's just an example. Now, another step to take towards all-round fitness is to find ways to incorporate little things into our daily lives to help us along the way. For example, most people are working from home right now, and I would say you need to consider investing in a desk that has the capacity to stand, so you can adjust the height of the desk from a sitting desk to a standing desk. So having a standing desk would help you, so you could set a timer to remind you so that you stand up and you don't end up sitting down all day. So you can, stand every hour and work on your feet for maybe 10, 15 minutes and sit back down. And if, for example, you can't afford a standing desk or you don't want to buy one, you can still incorporate what I call movement bites into your own schedule. So movement bites are things that I do when working at my desk. And it's just a way to get me away from sitting down just for a minute or two, maybe marching on a spot, for example, or I'm doing something that would, something that involves a little bit of mobility. You could, for example, have 2 minutes of small movements while standing at your desk, just to help loosen your joints and to get your blood flowing. You could do, say, 10 push-ups every 30 minutes, or you could do 10 squats every hour, or maybe, you're a lunges person. You could do 10 lunges every hour. But the idea is that you're doing things that involve some form of mobility that gets you off from your backside, off from your seat, and away from the desk or at your desk. But you're moving your joints and you've got your blood flowing. Now, I'm sure if you give this a little bit of thought, you can come up with a quick routine which you can perform at different intervals throughout your working day. So to recap, achieving all-round fitness starts with awareness and improves with action. So I'll repeat that. Achieving all-round fitness starts with awareness and improves with action. Okay, nothing crazy. We're just talking about small actions, and we're talking about realistic targets, and then we're talking about the right mindset. So small actions, realistic targets, and right mindset. Now, remember, at B45, we're all about building our health and fitness like a castle, one brick at a time. But you need to remember, okay, building a castle requires a plan. You need to have an architect. So everyone has to develop their own plan. You have to be your own architect for achieving your own fitness. So on this fitness journey, you have to have a plan. Then you can kind of walk towards this plan or work with that plan to achieve your fitness journey. So let's do this. I sincerely hope that this adds value to you and helps you on your fitness journey. I hope that you're able to take some nuggets and apply to your life as you make a plan towards achieving all-round fitness, and as you plan, design, build, and navigate your fitness journey. I would love to hear from you, so please head over to www.b45.com so you can record a message from me from right on my website, and you don't have to install any apps on your phone or your laptop. You can just click record, and I'd love to hear from you. Lastly, if you found this episode helpful, I would truly appreciate it if you consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or whatever platform you get your podcast. This would help the show. It will help the show a great deal, and it will also help grow the audience and hopefully help more people on their fitness journey. So until the next episode, stay healthy, get fitter, live life to the absolute fullest, and be fortified.